What's up, guys? It's Chris. Here to get my Strikeforce Miami afterthoughts. I don't know if I said it on my video, prediction video or not, but I wrote in my blog, and I might have said it on the radio show last week. This event could have been called the Good, the Bad, and the Ugly, and that kind of came to fruition depending on how you viewed it. First up, they're supposed to have in regards to the bad, one of the bads, Joe Riggs J Heron, which I wanted to be on Showtime, wasn't. It was supposed to be streamed on EASports/MMA.com. Well, that shit didn't work. The stream was horrible. I never got it to work. It just kept buffering. I was looking on SureDog forums, see if anyone got it on there working. Everyone was having problems with it. So I guess EA said they got more people to come to the website than they predicted. But come on, man. You got to be prepared for that stuff. So I didn't get to see this fight. But it sounds like it was kind of a boring fight anyway, aside from the third round. Jay Heron got the decision win. So, Riggs, I wanted him to win, but he didn't. I'm not surprised, in all honesty. I guess Heron is in line, most likely, to get the next title shot at Nick Diaz, but he's a free agent as well, so he'll have to be negotiated with first. But if he signs on, then he should get Nick Diaz next. More into the bad, or maybe the ugly, I don't know. Depends on how you want to view this next fight. But Bobby Lashley against Wes Sims. If this were a pro wrestling match, this would be what you called a squash match. You know who's going to win, you know it's going to be over quick, and you know it's not going to be that entertaining. Wes Sims was a late replacement for some guy, I don't even know who. And Lashley just took him down and stomped him out with a few punches, and Sims was trying some horrible guard technique. I don't know. I don't know what he was doing, in all honesty, aside from losing. And then he gave up his back, and Lashley was hitting him in the back of the head. And then the ref stops it, and then Sims is complaining about, I don't know what. I mean, you were pretty much defenseless. You gave up your back. You went flat. The fight was going to end within the next 30, 60 seconds anyway. So I don't know what Sims' complaint was, but he lost. In a pretty useless fight. You know, Lashley doesn't gain anything from this win, in my opinion. I don't even know what's next for Lashley. I was looking at Strikeforce's website. They have 9 heavyweights on their website. Lashley wasn't even on the website, in all honesty, but when you only have 9 heavyweights in your division, or 10, not a lot of depth. I don't know. Maybe they'll give Mike Kyle next or something. I have no idea. Herschel Walker, Greg Nagy. Or Nodge, my bad, Greg Nodge. Herschel Walker making his MMA debut. And you could tell so. Greg Nodge looked like he was making his MMA debut, in all honesty. He looked like a guy that shouldn't even have been in there. Of course, they weren't going to match Walker with anyone that was more than likely going to have an advantage against him, but, man, Nodge just looked like a guy who hadn't even really trained. I don't know what the hell his strategy was other than to go in there and, I don't know, to go in there and try to make it all 15 minutes. Maybe that was his strategy. But Herschel, I don't know. I mean, I guess credit for doing okay standing with the strikes, the kicks, controlling your man on the ground position, but he really couldn't do much from the back. He was probably the least ineffective fighter I've seen in the mount position, aside from Kimbo Slice against Houston Alexander. His ground and pound was just really, really ineffective, in all honesty. He really couldn't drop the kind of bombs you would expect a guy in that position for that long to be able to do. He just doesn't really have the punching technique. Not that he should be expected to, but he's never really going to develop into much because of this stage, this age and whatnot. I don't know. I mean, credit to Herschel for getting in there, and bringing exposure to the sport, but don't expect much for him from the future. And the stoppage of this fight was ridiculous because I know that Herschel was winning and Nodge wasn't putting much of a defense, but he was punching the guy in his damn shoulder when the referee called it off. You may not be defending yourself, but when you get punched in the shoulder, what risk are you really at of getting, long-term damage? So, bad stoppage, bad fight, bottom line. Shit, what the hell? I don't know how I skipped over Robbie Lawler, Melvin Manoff, but I think that was the second fight. Anyways, Robbie Lawler, Melvin Manoff. Man, what a fight. Was what we expected and then some. Now, this was like the good. Or maybe the ugly, man, the way it ended. But Melvin Manoff was kicking Robbie Lawler's ass, kicking his leg all over the place. I never seen no one's leg swing out like that when it got kicked. It was like a cabinet getting flung off the hinge or something. Melvin Manoff was just taking it to Robbie. Robbie wasn't doing anything. And then when you thought Lawler was all pretty much done, he comes out with a huge right hand and just crushes Melvin Manoff right on the chin. Melvin started going down. Robbie followed up with a big left and another unnecessary right, and just, let's be honest, Melvin Manoff was knocked the fuck out. I mean, that's all you could say. He looked like he was dead. He looked like he was having a seizure. No disrespect, no one's had seizures, but, man, he was in bad shape. I mean, you want to talk about a dramatic turn around in a fight. That's about as good as it's going to get. So, credit to Robbie Lawler for taking that ass whooping and still having enough left to come back and just absolutely decimate Melvin Manoff. Man, what a fight. What a fight. What's next for Robbie? I'd like to see a rematch against Jason Mayhem Miller. He fought Mayhem Miller in, oh man, what was that shit called? It was in Hawaii. I forgot the name of the event. But it was in Hawaii, and he was winning the fight, and then I think he gassed, and Mayhem ended up tapping him out. So I'd like to see that rematch. And if not, maybe a fight with Benji Razor Radic, because it would be fireworks. Chris Cyborg against Marlos Kunin. Cyborg dominates. Marlos tried on the feet. Really couldn't do anything. When she landed, she couldn't really stop Cyborg. Cyborg was just way too strong for her, bottom line. Marlos, her jiu-jitsu was ineffective. Cyborg just controlled her, manhandled her. I would say woman-handled her, but it looked more like manhandling her. Cyborg's got that women build, so whatever. Cyborg wins. TKO round 3, dominated, and next up for her most likely will be Erin Tohill. She's a good serviceable fighter, but Cyborg should win that fight as well. Main event, Nick Diaz, Marius Zaromskis for the welterweight title. Man, what an exciting fight. Diaz comes out just taking it to Zaromskis as he does all his opponents. Zaromskis firing back. Diaz hurts Zaromskis. Looks like he's going to finish him off. Then Zaromskis comes back and ends up dropping Nick. Although I don't know how hurt Nick was. If you go back and rewatch it, I don't know how much Nick was really hurt. Looked like more of a slip than actually being hurt. But anyways, Nick gets back to his feet and just completely just overwhelms Zaromskis. Nick was throwing a ton of punches like always, but he seemed to have a little more pop on his punches. His punches seemed to have more to him than usual in the past. I don't know if he's sitting down more on his punches or what it is, but or if he's just better at 170, but his punches looked pretty effective. Mixed them up well to the head and the body. Had Zaromskis against the cage and was just tearing him apart to the head and the body. And Zaromskis got out of there, but Nick followed him out. And just Zaromskis swung, and Nick followed up with a beautiful right hand. Just dropped Zaromskis, and the fight was over. So, Nick Diaz, I said this on my Twitter last night. He may not be the best fighter out there, but he is, in my opinion, pound for pound, the number one badass in MMA. By far. The guy brings a fight. The guy will fight anyone. He makes for exciting fights. Nick Diaz, man, he's my favorite fighter for a reason. What's next for him? Like I said, if Jay Heron signs a contract, he should be next. If not, I have no idea. Go look at Strikeforce's website, look at their welterweight division, and find a name for me. Because unless it's Andre Galval, who ain't ready for him yet, there's nobody in Strikeforce. I'm not being, facetious or anything, or exaggerating. There's nobody in the division, so they need to sign Jay Heron. Otherwise, he has no opposition whatsoever. So, anyways, good event, though. The good, the bad, and the ugly. That's what I'm calling it. Good, entertaining fight, Strikeforce may not have the production values of UFC, but for some reason or another, their events always seem to be entertaining as hell, in my opinion. So, check out the website, thewillbebloodfightshow.com. My Twitter if you're interested. Links in the information part as always. Be back with my UFC 109 predictions in the next couple days. Until then, y'all, I'm out.